Welcome, friends, gamers, and other enthusiasts to the BoydofZINJ channel. I hope you enjoy your time here and the video. Please like, subscribe, do all the bell icons, and comment. It really does help small content creators like myself and others by doing so. If you click on the notifications, it may even let others and the YouTube gods know that they may enjoy these videos. With that being said, let's play. Welcome back to Boydton, the town of the future, set in a unknown planet that some Battletech residents has terraformed. Let's load up the game. And you notice again, I'm not using, I mentioned this almost every video, but I'll mention it again. We're not using any mods, no cheats, no known exploits. We're not downloading anything, and no console commands. And you notice that of course, this is the base game with all content DLC. It's the full release version for the PC. The DLC I don't have are some music slash radio DLC, which since I'm a lowly content creator, I can't play their music. I will be having some RWBY music in the background. I hope you enjoy. And I'm downloading the last version of the game. I did do a quick update on the game, as you can notice here. Well, I hope you notice. Okay, if you notice on the bottom left, the southwest corner of the city, we're not quite at Grand City yet. I had a runabout and some industrial buildings there. I'm just looking at what our next achievement or two will be. Grand City is next, and then of course, Capital City, I believe, was the last one. So let's take a look at the achievement. Now, the other thing I'm planning on doing is I know I've been telling you that I want to, get industrial building. I'm sorry, farming going. And I truly want farming. However, I've decided to put the Lio farming here. And I hope this would make a better appropriate place for it. We don't have the land yet, so we can't do it. So we're going to have to grow the city twice to get to it. But that's the plan. So in the meantime, I do have Marik coming in, and they want to make a small enclave onto the area. And I'm thinking about putting Marik here. And when I mean enclave, I really mean like either a satellite town or like a suburb of Boydton. So this is the stuff I did add. If you notice, there's a roundabout there. It's a highway, and I added, helicopter depots for both medical as well as fire. So that way, and since the fire is near the water, it could transport water to any affected areas. I also added two recycling plants. We're trying to stay green in the city. And this is of course Eagle Avenue, and of course sometimes it doesn't work out, and you have to like adjust it properly. It says, well, we can't do the runabout as completely Eagle Avenue, so we have to come up with a different name for that runabout and fix the other lane there. All right, so now that's Eagle Lane or Avenue. For the runabout, I'm thinking that we should call it Andorian. Andorian, I believe that's the way how it's pronounced, is one of the prefectures of House Marik. And since this is kind of like going to be like the start of the Marik area, it would make sense. I'm also zoning in uh, high density areas as well. We need more people, after all. So let's rename this runabout. And for right now, it pretty much just goes nowhere. So you go there, you circle back. Eventually it will go north to more industrial area, or south for more industrial area as well. And remember, this is 3025 lore and pre, because the more industrious you will realize that wasn't Andorian part of a revolution to get free themselves from Free Rogues League and House Marik? Yes, but that happened in 3033. Or I'm sorry, 3030. So the people of 3025, at least these common folk, would not know about this. And so that's why we're having here. You'll notice that the public warehouse yard, so this is something I just recently added. And I thought it would be great because we're starting to need more garbage collection. Okay, so now our next situation is I want to. Do you see those contours? Wouldn't it be great if this new suburb of Boydton would have like some sort of lake or pond in the middle of it? Suburb slash satellite town. So let's do this. And I like using, for quick zoning like this, I like using the airport district because it flattens everything out. Of course, we have too much land. So now we need to kind of like give ourselves, we need to either throw away the land or, expand some of the areas. There's a lot of water in here, and we are authorizing the use in industrial areas of terraforming. It's something in the lore and something within our disposition to use. Yes, in real life, terraforming like this is virtually impossible to do, but this is the future of the future. So yes, I believe that terraforming in some zones like this would be very possible. So let's fix this up a little bit. And as fate would have it, a monsoon seems to come. Okay, so we're going to let the water come in. Even though it's free, the water takes some time to enter. I'm just fast forwarding through some of this boiling part. And for right now, we're using this to define the edges of the pond and the lake. And of course, I didn't really plan this out. Whoopsie. So some water is leaking out. So we had to raise the land a little bit. The terraformers did a terrible job in anticipating the water escaping. But we'll get to the bottom of this. The real question that you should be asking me is, why are we doing this? Well, I already kind of mentioned that I want House Marik, but roleplay wise, Boydton is planning to expand here. And again, the natural curves made it where it looked like a really good area to put in a lake. And we want to, jazz up the area to make it someplace where you would be proud. And yes, it's dark time, it's dark, holy cow. But where you would be proud to live in this area, right? Something that's also very beautiful. I'm adding some garbage to clear the sewage in the waters. A light role-playing issue. There's a large city council meeting that's been advertised, and several business industrialists are going to be coming to the meeting, as well as dignitaries from additional factions throughout the planet. All right, this is the city council view of Boydton. And remember, we have right now two council seat members, ComStar and Kurita. Each one only have one vote each. ComStar has 3 representatives, but they still only have 1 vote. House Kurita sends 1 member. The 3 representatives representing ComStar is James Lewis, the Warder Blake faction representative, Sabrina Webb, the ComStar ComGuard faction representative leader, and returning Todd Holmes. Todd Holmes, as you all remember, is a ComStar adept and is part of the Order faction within ComStar. As some of you may or may not remember, in the previous episode, Todd Holmes was unable to make it and was replaced with Adept Willow Smith, his secondary. However, Todd Holmes is making it into this council meeting. For House Kurita on the other side, we have one representative representing the House Kurita interests. For the Kuritans, Lady Amron of the LFMC and the Five Pillars represents the Kurita interest within the city council meetings, unless she has, obviously, important business with the actual coordinator. But Lady Amra is holding the council seat member for House Kurita. Welcome to the city council meeting for Boydton. I'm glad to see a lot of returning faces. The ComStar representatives have signaled that they are ready to proceed. I now see that the House Kurita council member has signaled she is ready to proceed. Again, thank you all for attending. We will start. All right, the first point of order is we have a resident within Boydton, a longtime business owner, Kathleen Dixon, who would like to share some information and news with us and the city council. Kathleen Dixon is a member of ComStar, but she does not represent ComStar at this time. She comes as a pure resident of Boydton and has a business deal to discuss with us. She has recently sold her rights and ownership of the famed 5 a.m. Battletech nightclub near Unity Park. She has obtained the rights to a locomotive company that she plans on giving the town of Boydton the rights and lease to. Essentially, she is willing to use her business to move, transport, and people, as well as cargo, into and out of Boydton. She's willing to give us a substantial discount. However, the only thing she is asking for is she will gain access to any profits in excess of past 10%, and that the town of Boydton will subsidize and help maintain both the train depots and any tracks that she lays for this idea. Personally, I think it's a grand idea. However, this will require a vote. All right, the voting has ended, and let it be known that both the ComStar and the House Kurita City Council representatives have agreed to her terms, which means that the train stations will be from the Dixon Transport Company and will have full access to both Boydton proper as well as any suburbs or satellite cities of Boydton. The next thing to our agenda is we have representatives from House Marik in our midst. The House Marik representatives is pleading they wish to start a suburb or satellite district within Boydton's regional area. And this area is going to be known as the Regulus Township, and it's going to be located in the current south area of Boydton. All right, voting will now commence. All right, voting has stopped. Let it be known that the House Kurita representatives for the city council member has abstained. The ComStar representative and city council member has voted yes. So this measure has been approved. In the future, this also means that House Marik will have a city council seat. So next city council seat will have House Marik representative. And we'll find out later who that representative will be. Thank you for attending. Oh, breaking news. I'm getting a news report here. There appears to be some type of arson event at the fishing area. Let's check out the news. All right, ComStar Newsfeed, July 10th, 2040 edition. Center article. The Regulus Township has been approved for new Marik and ComStar residents as a satellite township within Boydton. Satellite townships are the new suburbs of Boydton, says source. Left article. The Regulus River has been created. Right article. An angry worker within the House Kurita has become the infamous fish arsonist. The LFMC fish farm is in flames. And the C is missing, but it's supposed to be LFMC. All right, crisis has been averted. It turns out that our fine firefighters, the ComGuard firefighting unit, has quenched the flames and has prevented damage from all buildings. The LFMC fish farm has recovered. Furthermore, we have apprehended the arsonist, and it turns out this arsonist is a House Kurita member that has recently joined and is in cahoots with a rebel faction within House Kurita called the Free Rasalhague Rebels. It's a small but growing and vocal minority who wish to free themselves from the yoke of House Kurita. Most disturbing. But regardless, the arsonist has been apprehended, and the building is now back to repairs, and all surrounding buildings have been fixed. This will end the city council meeting, and let's get back to making the city. You'll notice to the south, the Regulus Township District has been created. That's what we're going to start working on next. The river has been terraformed, and we're going to be starting the township of Regulus to the south there.
All right, I finally got a new mic, so if I sound different, I do apologize, but this is how I should be sounding from going forward, at least unless I don't like it and then purchase a new one, right? Hope you enjoy. We are updating the district of the Regulus Township. Regulus, as a township, should have multiple districts. Now, what I'm going to do is I want to have it aligned to the main uh, grid of Boydton. Even if I'm not going to have it aligned with that road, I want to make sure that all future roads have the same alignment as uh, Boydton proper. Now, this road is one I plan on having connected. And I decided, this this is a good area for a runabout. Okay. And you notice that the great monsoon of 2040 rain is still happening. And I'm just fixing up the land in this area a little bit. Again, I like using the airport tools to create a district because it's the fastest way of making sure stuff gets aligned, at least in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you have a better way of doing it that's much more efficient. Who knows? As for the quay, the one with the trees looks prettier. However, you can't put uh, buildings on it. At least I never could. So I use the other standard quay where I think I want, have buildings. And I'm just rounding it out a little bit and then making sure that there's enough water. And I said, "Oops, I don't want lakes outside of this area." I am doing an audible. Yes, I mentioned I wanted to start, farming, but in this case, it would make logical sense to start our paper slash forestry industry. So that's what I'm doing here. The Duchy of, I believe it's called Oranth, is a very large influence in 3025 House Marik area. So that's what I'm going to be calling this forestry area. Besides generic industry or forestry industry, we're putting actual forestry industry. And I always like to make sure we have all tree types, and we're getting some excess. My opinion is it's better to have excess base supply than to import the base supply. We can always export excess supply of trees if we have too much of it for our industry to become profitable. Using the lake as the center of point for Regulus, I foresee the industry and commercial, or actually the industry and the office area to be closer to the east, which is be close to the highway. And then I realized, you know what? If this is going to be a high traffic area, we need some type of runabout here. So that's what I'm doing here. Remember, ComStar will be in control of the basic facilities such as road maintenance, hospitals, police, etc. There is a faction of ComStar that is a very minor faction and a secretive faction which allies itself with Marik. It's called ROM, ROM, Romeo, Oscar, Mike. First obvious question is, what does ROM stand for? Believe it or not, the lore of Battletech is very vague. In fact, there's even suggestions that no one quite knows what ROM stands for. Essentially, ROM is the intelligence, internal intelligence branch of ComStar, i.e., they're the ones who monitor themselves to make sure agents aren't defecting or telling out secrets. So as a result, you notice that the police here is the intelligence agency, and they're all ROM agents here. Likewise, you notice that I'm putting a crematorium here to, instead of having graveyards, we're going to start burning bodies. And I'm kind of jokingly putting it as barbecue. And you'll notice that I'll start putting some eateries nearby that all are barbecue flavored, implying that after you cremate one of your loved ones, afterwards you'll go out and eat barbecue. It's kind of lame, but I'll run with the joke. All right, so I'm looking for some type of eatery or something. Food trucks, food trucks sound good. And we're going to have them be barbecue food trucks. Again, playing with the crematorium, theme of barbecue. It's a joke. Bad one probably. I'm going to roll with it. So Satellite City is basically a big suburb for Boydton. And this satellite city or township, Regulus, which is part of House Marik. I'm just laying the foundations, putting the water now. And I'll make adjustments, once we progress the city a little bit further. every township or large residential area should have its own high school and elementary school. So the Merricks will have their own school. I believe I'm going to name the high school the Captain General, which is the name of the leader of House Marik. And Thomas Marik was the heir in 3025 to House Marik. So that'll be the elementary school name. And for that road, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, we're I want to make it where nothing's perfect in this area as well. I'm trying to put curves, natural curves in this area. And again, these areas are, the closer you get to the water, the more well-to-do areas you have. As a result, you're going to need some privacy, so we'll put some privacy fences there. And if you get really close to the water, you're going to have uh, not high-density homes, but just regular homes. And of course, the high school does require good parking, and I think they'll have a basketball field. We'll call it the Captain General High School basketball field, which should be part of the school. You know, in my area, most large high schools have some type of sporting field, usually a football field, but in this case, we're going with soccer. I am still putting a taxi in this area, even though taxis aren't really used in this game. I'm still going to do it. Eventually, I'm going to put a hotel or two in this area as well. I think it would be appropriate. Again, this is a big suburb of a city. It's technically its own town, but it's a satellite town within Boydton. So they will technically have their own city council, but they'll follow our main city council directives. I'm putting in a housing district. And again, they don't have to be perfect squares. Now, I do want some nightlife. And I can't think of a good name, so I'll think about a different name for the nightlife, the Regulus nightlife. Technically, we'll also need a towers district as well, probably. Now, the water is kind of goofy still because it's being fluctuated because I've been making a lot of changes to it. So, which is why you see the water fluctuates. The type of fish is going to be on there. I'm going to add some additional fishing areas within Boydton. In this case, primarily algae. And I kind of want it in the middle so that way it can go either north or south for the Merricks. And we're going to also add fishing markets and the fishing factory to this area. Again, fishing is very important to the lifeblood of this town, and so will be farming, which is why I'm making it crucial to Boydton and expanding it here. Some of the street names I'm going to figure out. I wasn't prepared to do Marik. This is an audible I threw out. I'm not sure why I picked Marik all of a sudden, but it felt right to me. So I'm adding the fish farms. This is something I should have done earlier, and then I realized, I haven't done it. And I'm adding 3 of them, to indicate the 3 different factions, the 3 different main areas of Boydton. And for this one, I'm trying to do it in such a way where it's close to the housing, but not necessarily too close because of the noise. So some of those residents will be a little upset because there will be some residual noise, but that's fine. No one lives a perfect life, I guess. Marik, I'm putting a big factory for fish as well. In retrospect, I'm probably going to have to add a big factory for the Kuritas side as well. But I'll have to remember to do that later. I'm adding the bus route. Now, on the bus route, since Merrick is not as large of an area, it's just a suburb. I'm just adding one single line and making a circular line. And if you notice that this is like a backward C area, and I think this is perfect from one roundabout to the other roundabout. And of course there's roundabout in the middle, I guess. But yeah, I will be expanding the forestry area for Merrick. And now I'm adding the crematoriums, and of course I'm going with the theme. They're all barbecue stuff. I'm noticing that power is an issue, and I remember I needed to increase the power previously. Even the budget is at max, so I'm deciding to expand the power industry, and I'm just updating the forestry at this time. For the power, we are going green. As a result, we're going to be adding green, and we're also adding hotels before it becomes evasive. And the hotels are a nice form of income. So here we are going to add a solar energy. Again, we're doing it before it becomes evasive on Merrick's side. Okay, we made it to Grand City. So we do have additional power options, as well as we also have additional options for other items. The one thing I noticed is we're kind of weak on a hospital of some type, and a clinic. So I'm adding the clinic on the Merrick side, and I'm also thinking we need an actual hospital. And I'm, updating the ROM side, even though they're part of ComStar. ROM is part of ComStar, so as a result, that's the reason why they get the hospital there. The Merrick side has the ROM faction in it. More about that later. I'm also looking at the pollution, and luckily none of the water, the intake water, is polluted, which is intended. And I noticed I didn't add pipes here properly, so time to add the pipes. Alright, that should fix everything. And at night, the town's looking more and more beautiful. I really love the area of Unity Park. I think it's a showcase. And again, I'm looking at our funds, and we want to make sure we stay in the green, so we need a bit more hotels. Plus, hotels promote tourism. We want people coming in to Boydton. More people coming in is better money for us as well. So I'm thinking about adding a few additional places for Boydton and improving what we have. Anytime I make a new bus line in a real popular area, I like to follow it just to make sure it's working right. And the one thing I noticed is, hey, mobile command center, that's the police, that's ROM. This is coming from the headquarters, the intelligence branch. What's up with this? And then I noticed that we also increased the level of the forestry. Even with all the planted plants and trees, there was still a point. So I added a medium tree. Again, more police. Same area. Is this the crime wave? Very interesting. And notice how they picked up somebody. I think it's time we need a prison. But let's take a look at this bus route. I've been trying to look at it. I'll monitor the police situation in a bit. And of course, there is the elementary school. And notice how the elementary school is kind of getting filled up. Of course, there's a huge need for college, and we don't have a college yet. That's another thing we need to work on. A lot of things we need to work on. Farming and college are the two main things that Boydton needs. The forest center is now 3 stars. So we're adding paper. I think paper is a very useful commodity, and we're going to be expanding this area a bit. Again, this is an audible I'm running. Why even worry about paper? Why even worry about this? It's an industry. It's a refillable industry. So once it's been implemented in place, you don't have to worry about it that much, and it should make a decent amount of money. Likewise, I'm also creating this as a bus lane to make the bus routes go a little bit easier. I'm noticing that traffic is mostly on one lane. So this is a 6 lane. The traffic still has the other 2 lanes, and then bus has its own dedicated lane. Bus and important transit vehicles such as police and fire. And look at it. I think this is becoming a small, beautiful suburb. So let's try and follow this bus again. I've been trying to follow it for a while, but something's always been distracting me. And you notice I'm slowing it up just so we can take a more appreciative look of Boydton. We want to take a look, especially at night. Sometimes, a lot of people say, day only, but it's just as beautiful as night. Okay, so this is the forest runabout, so we're coming back. But 17 people. Oh, we're down to 1 person now. So that was a good drop-off area. Oh, there's a famed barbecue where after you cremate your loved folks, 10 people now, until you pick people up, you can eat at that barbecue food stop. Food truck area. Drop some people off. We're down, to 5? Alright. You notice how the bus is purple for Marik. Down to 2, so we dropped some additional people off. This residential area runabout. We should be going to school soon. We picked some people up. We're up to 9. We picked 13 people up now, or up to 13, up to 14. There's an elementary school. Middle of downtown Regulus. There's a downtown Regulus runabout, and we're going back to the forestry. Okay, that was a nice follow of the bus. Okay, I decided to add a runabout here, and I'm also going to be adding a prison as well as remaking this area slightly. And again, this is the ComStar / ROM area. The not so secret ROM and Marik prison. So this prison will hold all the political people within Boydton. So this area has multiple runabouts. That's fine. They want to be efficient there, so that way they need to get to the political prisoners faster. Alright, we're adding the big hotels. Now, these hotels are very large. We finally got to the point where we can add them. The Regulus Fine Hotel. Luckily, it doesn't need any type of background light, and it does a really good job. Now, I'm going to be placing this in Unity, and it's going to destroy some of the Unity colorization and aesthetic, but I think it'll make a fine addition and should make some a nice profit for Boydton, which is what Boydton needs. We're kind of running low on cash. You know, we started about a million 1.1 million, I believe, and we're down to under 300K. Of course, it's growing again, but we're using it as fast as we're growing. And again, we're expanding the forestry area. In this case, we're terraforming the water. Something that shouldn't really be happening, but this is the future. The future is terraforming. And then I'm updating it to fix it. And I'm making sure that everything's fine. Looking at the... Oh, look. We're now level 4 on the forestry. We were just making sure all the fish people were doing fine. Upgrading to some high density buildings. We still need more residents within Boydton. And of course, adding onto the bicycle highway, and also we're now removing the graveyards. We're doing away with all graveyards. Graveyards, while aesthetically very pleasing, the only bad thing is it gets filled up and then it gets a little messy and something you have to mess around with. I want this to be an automated type city, so we're replacing the graveyard with more barbecue crematoriums. I was going to say something else, but and then of course right next to the barbecue area, and this is part of a creator that you take your young ones to review life. There's also some barbecue food trucks, so that way after you make your loved ones into ash, you can have some barbecue afterwards. And there's a discount for it, I hear. Something that ComStar will probably report on next episode. Not every crematorium currently has barbecue place, but many of them do. Who owns the barbecue crematoriums? That's something we'll have to find out later. And I'm thinking, should I expand this area? It says yes, might as well start expanding it. And again, these are probably going to be rich to do people, so they want some privacy from each other, so they're not cramped up completely, but still apartment types, high density areas. And this is a very popular area of traffic, so I'm going to add additional commercial zones. So that way, when you're busy, you could stop at a commercial area to rest up as you're going to work, coming from work, whoever these people are doing. Now, this is a high traffic area. I've been thinking about it. In the next episode, I'm probably going to get rid of this road and then add a train. Make this completely separate from Boydton, where maybe the only connection would be the highway, which kind of makes sense. A suburb, a part of the city, all the roads are connected. And I don't want this to be, while this is still a decent area for the roads, it's causing problems. In fact, I'm looking at the traffic right now. I want to fix this area and make it a runabout. And it's going to take me a while to fix this up. So let's speed this up a bit. That east-west road going into the runabout somehow isn't perfect, so I'm going to have to make a small edits where it's not exactly perfect into the city, but that's fine. Not everything has to be pure right angles, and I'm going to leave it as is. I'm fine with that. Some of these people who are living near the highway are going to complain about the highway noise, but you know, such is fate. And I'm making a bridge. I want the one thing I started to identify early is traffic. That turnabout, runabout, whatever you want to call it, it does alleviate the traffic somewhat, yes. Does it make traffic flow easier? Yes. However, there's a lot of traffic that is going north to south. As a result, this bridge should even alleviate it more. I noticed that there's a lot of traffic going south to east, there's a lot more traffic going south to north. As a result, this bridge should make it faster so that way the people who are going south to east aren't interfered as much. I'm also noticing, whoops, the roads aren't correct again. So I'm making this entire road Katana. Katana Avenue, Katana Street, and then the bridge. You know what? Why, let's keep it the Katana themed. Kind of makes sense, right? So let's add the Katana Bridge. See, look at the traffic. It's flowing nicely now. However, it's still a lot of traffic. It's something we're going to be, cautious about. We need to alleviate this traffic more. And I think trains is one way of doing it. At least that's my thoughts. If you have any ideas about this traffic, let me know in the comments below, please. I truly need to know. We look at the noise pollution. For the most part, most of the residents are outside the noise pollution. Some of these residents are not, but they're close to really luxurious areas. I mean, I'd throw a sauna or two just to make sure that those people are satisfied. Pollution's okay. I think Boydton's, coming out to become a grand, beautiful city. A beautiful city. We do have some terrorists about, evidently. The Rasalhague Rebels, who are freeing themselves from the yoke of House Kurita. Remember, 3025 lore. We've also been terraforming. Now we have House Marik in the midst, and Marik has brought in their forest industry. Likewise, look at the traffic. We have some traffic problems brewing, coming near the populated residential areas. And finally, we even have a secret organization faction within ComStar called ROM, where it's so secretive no one even knows what the acronym stands for. What does ROM stand for? And there's guesses and theories, but no one has a full understanding of what it is. We need to also expand the bicycle lane and as well as the bicycle highway down here, or what I'm calling the highway. We got to the police area, but we wanted to go further south. All right, I believe this will be ending the. Again, the crematorians are for Boydton, a barbecue place that knows how. There's none really in the forest. I'm sorry, none near the industry area. And there's that hospital. I know I was just about to close the episode out, but I was talking about we need a hospital. And I think the hospital location here would be a great area. This is a real noisy area, so lots of people are going to get sick for the noise. Plus, there's not very much hospital coverage here. And there's also a bus route that stops really close to it. So this will make a great hospital. You could either take the bus here or drive here. The only thing I should do is I should add a back road, and I'll do this in the next episode as well, and add a parking lot to it because it'll make sense. This is a big hospital, it needs a huge parking lot. This person works at the ROM Intelligence Agency. Last name Jones, first name Walter. We're going to see a pattern. All the people we see working for this agency have generic last names. Suspicious. In fact, Walter Jones will become a very prominent citizen here within Boydton. He's actually a nobleman for ROM. And again, look at this. People going to this intelligence agency. Very interesting. I wonder what secrets that they're having or reporting on. This is something we'll have to find out later. All right, folks, I'm going to be wrapping this up as we look at the ROM intelligence agency, spying on us. Again, if you have any comments on street names, please let me know in the comments below. If you want to know more about ROM, also let me know any information you might have on it. Remember, 30, 25, and early. I don't care about jihad. That's not something that's in the cards. Maybe, there's no, remember, there's no actual Battletech, so there's no nukes that are going to be going off. At least I hope not. I truly would appreciate any type of comments, likes, or subscribes that you'll have. It does help content creators like myself grow and let me know that you appreciate this type of content. Or I like City Skylines. I'm doing this on my own free time, and let me tell you, it takes more to edit than actual play. I'm losing play time. Not that I'm complaining, but if you have any suggestions or ideas, I really do and would appreciate them. It does help me out. Even people on Discord helps me out.
It's that time of the video where I'd say adios. Thank you for watching. And if you're hearing this, I really like to say thank you for staying at least this long or skipping to the end. I really appreciate it. Better yet, the YouTube gods seem to enjoy it. Please like, subscribe, click on the bell icon, send notification alerts. It really does help content creators like myself. I need the help. If you have any suggestions about my YouTube content or my channel or about this video, I'd love to hear it. Please leave a comment. Regardless, I'd like to thank you for watching. Stay safe, be entertained, enjoy life, and until next time, adios, goodbye. Hope your RNG is better than mine. Thank you.
All hands, initiate shutdown sequence.